Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Wow.
Hello.
Look at you, boys. Sparkly and vanish and
Harry.
hairy. Isn't this exciting? An impromptu one.
On a Monday as well. Who
It
people
is
need
Monday.
this.
Who'd have thought? 2 o'clock in British. What time are you over there, Gerald? It's gone 9 o'clock.
Just gone 9 a.m.
Just got out of bed, haven't you?
Yes, thank you. I did. You know.
Nice bed
but-
hair, John.
Okay. Is it true, Ben, that when you get older, you have to get up earlier? I mean, now that you're old.
Well, you know,
Oh, he's speechless.
you get up whenever you want to get up. But you do in your 30s. I don't know what you do in your decade, but
Well, I'm retired, so I get up whenever the heck I want.
Well, it's lovely to spend some time with you.
and you.
Thank you. I'm so glad I got your message.
You're very welcome. I thought, well, shall we just go on and do a few card readings for people? We haven't done that for a little while.
You haven't.
And let's face it, between us, we've got thousands of decks that we need to get through.
I mean, we need to do this every day for about 5 years.
Well, that's something Regina Tarot did. Regina Tarot in Wirecraft, she did read with all the decks.
Yeah.
I love
She did live readings, and she had her decks lined up, and she read with one and then moved it on.
Nice. That's a good idea because rather than just putting them in a box of sadness.
These decks need to be
Sadness.
used.
But some of them, you know, Ben, you must have come across one or two that's a bit, it's not working for me. Need to be passed on.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Something that's just a little bit off. Or
Right, should we do let's do the proper bit. I suppose we need to do this bit, don't we? By saying that readings are for entertainment purposes only. Or we've only got to do it in a good BBC accent, like your video, Ben.
What you get?
But entertainment purposes only. What we're going to do, if anybody has a question, pop it in capitals in the chat. We will randomly select readings, and we're going to pull some cards. We have tarot, we have oracle. As Gerald just said, do you want to pop that card up again for me, my lovely? Do not make decisions based on what we say. Seek professional assistance. Absolutely. So we're not doing readings on legal or health matters. It's just anything else, really. And we do have the right to say, no, we're not going to do those. But we're here to have some bit of fun. So let's get that bit out of the way. But I'll leave that scrolling along the bottom. So what decks are we going to be using then, guys? Do you want to start? Ben, what ones are you going to use today?
So I'm going to be using the Rain Coast Tarot. The Borders version, which is the artist is what's his name? Christoph James is the artist, and so I'm going to be using that. And the Roots and Wings Oracle deck, because I do like a good Oracle deck, which is in this little bag. And another deck that I came across on Etsy, which is just called Tarot, and it's just kind of
that's nice,
drawn in pencil kind of sketches. So I'm going to be using that one, and we could be here all day.
I'm just like going, wow.
Guardian Angel messages, in case anybody wants a reading with that.
Nice.
And yeah, there you
go. Nice. Gerald, what are you using this morning?
Well, because I'm a copycat, I am pulling out my Roots and Wings Oracle.
Ooh.
But I have to mix it.
Roots and Rings then?
What?
I thought you were going to say Roots and Rings, not Wings.
It's going to be like that. I am also using the Interconnection Oracle and the Zombie Oracle by our lovely Orshi and the
Yeah.
Building Relationships Oracle by Orshi,
Nice.
and it's and part of that is a shameless plug because she's coming on with me today at 2.
Lovely.
You're 7.
Did she show you mine?
Yes, it's an I'll show you mine. Things that bring us joy.
Or she, generally, just as the package, brings joy.
She does. I totally agree there, Rich. I love Orshi.
Yes. Actually, I'm going to put my Roots and Wings back because I don't want Ben to think I'm a copycat.
No, we might have the same cards.
We might need to do it. Might be good. Might be good for affirmation.
All right.
Affirmation.
You've been
My
drawn
word,
to it.
germ.
Yeah.
I'm going to be using. What am I using? I am going to be using a brand new deck, which I have fallen in love with. It's the Forest of Enchantment. Here's the book. Linnea Weatherstone. Sandra from Whispering Well got me onto this, and I hasn't been out my hands since I got it delivered a couple of days ago. And for oracles, this is an Orshi deck, and I've just literally done a walkthrough this morning and popped it on my channel. The Sacred Destiny, or Destiny, as I tend to call it, the Sacred Destiny Oracle, Denise Lynn, which is a really lovely, positive, good vibe. It feels fantastic in your hands. Look at the backs of these cards.
Oh wow!
Oh, nice.
Now, does it? Nice, aren't they? So yeah.
Yes.
So those are the two that I am going to be using.
I love that.
B is here. B the Infinity. Roots and Wings
Hi,
is
B.
one of my favourite oracles.
Ooh.
Oh well, yes. Do you know what, B? I only started using mine yesterday, and I love it. It's so much fun.
What do you like about it?
I think. Do you know? I just find that I'm able to. I use them intuitively, and I think I just find it easy to read with.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And the cardstock's lovely.
Is it?
It's like rose petal. It's hard to shuffle, actually, Gerald. I like to see that look on your face.
It's a rose petal, and it's almost that rose petal that I don't like.
Yeah. Oh, I
So
too.
yeah, it's too lotiony. So, but
I know what you mean. Sometimes you just want to wash your hands after using those.
Yeah.
yeah, it makes me feel like Jane Gum from it's those of you who get that reference can laugh. It's based upon a movie, Ben, and a book. It's based upon a book first.
Let me give you a clue.
Oh yes, Dracula.
No.
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
No.
No.
Have you not seen any of the Silence of the Lambs movies?
Oh yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah.
Not for a long time. I mean, you go back to the early 90s.
Right, we have our first.
Wow.
We're going to be doing our first reading in a moment. B has asked for a reading in a moment. I was going to say hello to a few more people that have just joined us, which is lovely. And if you would like us to do a reading for you, we're going to pull some cards. Please just pop it into capitals. I'll pop it up and we can take it in turns to do some stuff. So Joan is here. Hello, Joan. Good morning.
Joan.
Joan, I like your emoji. That's lovely, isn't it? And Debbie's here. Hello, Debbie. Welcome
Debbie.
to you. Lovely
Good
to
morning, Debbie.
And Deb is here. She said, hello, Ben, Joe. Hello, beautiful beings. I'm almost awake. Well, what a way to start.
She's from Texas, Debbie.
Yeah,
is.
I know.
Oh, are you going to move in so that you can be neighbors?
Yes, because I love J.R. Ewing and all Dallas and all that lot.
You do realize that's a fantasy show, correct? It's not reality.
I do miss the Dallas. I used to love it.
I love it. Bobby, J.R., Sue Ellen. The Poison
Charlene,
Dwarf.
what's the name of the little one with the blonde
Poison
hair?
Dwarf, Lucy.
Yeah, he was my favourite.
Yeah.
And Afton, yeah. In fact, actually, let's not talk about that. We've been talking about Dallas all the time. Isabel, Blue Sapphire. Hello, Isabel. Hello, lovely to see you. What's this? No work today. No work today. But you love the Forest of Enchantment cards, but found them harder to read, so haven't had them out for a while. Well, hopefully this might inspire you.
Yes.
Let's see how we go. It's a bit worrying, actually. Yeah, I have to think a little bit more about those ones. But we're going to go with it. We're going to go intuitively and see what happens. So that's great. So first up was B, who would like advice for my career. Thank you. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull either a card, tarot, or oracle, depending on what we fancy, and give you our thoughts on it. So remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Okay. Man says, "I love you, handsome bunch." We can do it in any order. I'm not going to swap us all around. Gerald, you're just going to be on the end for the whole of the show.
Okay.
Well, Gerald's been on the edge for a very long time anyway, so I'm sure he's used to that.
Yeah, it's all of the stuff I have to do for your contracts.
Oh, Ben, while I'm just shuffling and thinking, do you know what, Peter, my husband, gave you the best compliment. He couldn't believe how old you were. He thought you were about 26.
Really? Oh, that's lovely. Thank you. Tell him thank you. That's bless him.
If you haven't had a chance to catch the live on Gerald's channel from Saturday for Ben's birthday, do catch it because it was hysterically funny.
I mean, I don't act my age, to be fair.
It was great fun.
It was. And thank you guys for being there because you made it so special. And I really appreciate it.
All right. Be the infinity.
Be the infinity. Okay, let me know when you are ready, gentlemen. Who'd like to go first, or should we just hold them all up and then do it?
Let's hold them all up.
Hold them all up. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, look at that.
Ooh, look at
That's
that.
interesting.
Yeah.
So I go first if I'm
Yeah.
So I first pulled for you the wrong one. Keeper of Challenges. That's the King of Swords. So obviously that's going to tie in really nicely with Ben's. Advice on your career. So I wonder if this is actually someone about a boss or somebody at work that may be holding the answer for you, or whether it's actually you, B, as taking on that role of overseeing people and having to make a lot of ideas come true, working through all the plans and being really, really focused on it. So I pulled a second card for a clarification, and you got the lovely star card with this one. So I just think advice for your future: look for the possibilities, look for every opportunity that comes your way. Keep an eye, at the universe. It has got your back there, and just look for new possibilities and be forever hopeful about it. And how that relates to this person, I'm not quite sure, but the boys may have some more help with that.
Yeah. So I feel like, hi B, by the way. So I feel like this is like the aces are always about new beginnings. And I feel like this is a very considered kind of beginning for you. Perhaps I see you working perhaps at some sort of desk or office. I feel it's like an intellectual job rather than a physical job. You're going to be using your brain more than physical labor, but it'll be, I would say it's going to be very rewarding. The aces are always really good cards. So to me, I think, really think about what it is that you want to do and follow your dreams there.
And I got the journey card, which I'm wondering if there is an opportunity to either go on a work trip or perhaps to actually relocate. Again, hashtag, for entertainment purposes only, but this tells a very interesting story. You've got the king who is wanting to look at the stars, then you have the ace of swords, and then you're going on a journey where you can actually go outside and be around the sun and put your feet in the water and look up at the stars. So perhaps the advice for the career is to remember it is important to balance career with you and your physical location. So
I just noticed how much stars. I mean, I know, Ben, you've got, I think, your sun in your card. I'm interpreting that to be a nice sun, which is star. But look at how many we've got stars in our cards.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Me too.
So I would go out and do a little bit of stargazing. Make your thoughts,
Yeah.
make your choices at night. I would go outside and do that. So when your head is getting a bit clouded by what's happening with your career, nighttime could be a really good one.
Yeah, to think clearly.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. B, I hope that is helpful to you.
It makes some sense.
She says the cards all play so nicely together.
They really do.
Yes, they do. But that often happens with us three, isn't it?
It does.
We might be miles and miles apart, and yet somehow we're always in sync. It's like a song title there, isn't it?
Yes. I'm waiting for the three of us theme song, Ben.
I know. I'm working on it.
Do we have a theme song?
We're gonna have one. So yeah.
Do we have to like salute it every time it's played or something?
Well, you have to do something like that. Yeah. I do need some videos from you both.
Okay.
Potentially.
Yeah, there's not enough of us out there. YouTube.
Yeah. I'm like going, please tell me I don't have to lip sync.
Well, I'm just still doing the other project. You haven't done that for me yet, have you?
I've got so many projects on the go. We are such busy people.
Yes, but it's fun, isn't it? It's fun.
It is.
I was whittling this morning.
Oh, okay.
Just gonna say that. But
Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
no, I took my stick over to the park.
You took a what to the park?
Over to the park opposite, and I sat there in the sun whittling not whittling because that means having knives out, and probably it's not a good idea. But I was sanding down. I'm making a new wand.
You weren't welly wanking again, were you, Richard?
I wasn't wanging my welly. No.
This is good because wands are associated with summer, and in a couple of weeks it's the summer solstice.
It is. It's a week tomorrow, actually, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, 21st.
Holy mackerel! Yeah,
Do you know
because
what that
next
means,
week,
Gerald? This time next week, we've got our Letha Midsummer Long Stash discussion.
yes,
Oh, yes.
Over on
yeah,
your
I'm looking at my diary because this is all YouTube stuff
Wow.
and book discussion. B, I hope that was helpful.
Yes, I hope that's yeah, I hope everything goes all right with that one, and keep us posted. Let us know. Do people ever follow up with you when you've done readings before? Has anyone ever emailed you to say it was accurate or it didn't help at all?
Not really.
Feedback like that at all?
I've had people who they've seen me in a different live and said that have given me feedback on some of the readings that they were helpful or that made sense. But I like it when, well, was it Friday, Ben, when I was doing a reading for somebody and I suddenly got jam and toast. That was like the last thing I said. It's like, and I don't know what this means, but jam and toast. And the person for which we were reading was like, when that means something. I thought,
Yeah.
okay, like that feedback.
Yeah. That was really amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he just literally came out with it, and I was like, "Is he hungry?" But no, they came back and were like,
Well, sometimes you get flashes like that, isn't it? And
it was brilliant. Yeah.
Intriguing. And I don't know about you. Whenever that happens, you have to say it, don't you? It's like, as you say, I don't know where this has come from, but yeah.
Do you ever get like emotions come through, like when you're reading for somebody, or like overcome with a certain emotion when you're doing your reading?
Normally it's tears. Normally it's absolute tears. Not for everyone. I'm going to say that now, but occasionally I can really well up, and and that seems to happen as I get older.
I did one reading for someone, and it was just full of like happiness overflowing. I was like, "Oh, that's a nice feeling." It's a nice.
I will sometimes when I'm reading for people, and I know that I'm getting really connected. I will get emotion welling up. I don't know what emotion is. It's not sadness, but it's just a lot of emotional energy that just builds.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like going, okay, this tells me this is one of those signs or the tells for me that I'm feeling connected or that I am connected.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were spot on. Two different
Yeah,
things.
there you go. Spot on. Two different things. And B's just said, I work in an archive and data management. So yes, it would be nice to take a break, shake things up again.
Yeah,
It's very
especially
difficult to make that jump sometimes, isn't it? And throw yourself out in the world. But
And yeah, I think about that because I used to work in a library, and before the library was renovated, where we had a lot of windows, it could get dark and dingy in there. And it's like all of the librarians were taking their cardigans and going outside, so that they could get out into the sunlight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Okay, we have another reading. If anyone would like a reading, please pop it in capitals like Debbie has done here. And Debbie's asked, what can I do to get past all the procrastination in my life? So what can I do to get past all the procrastination in my life? Joan's going to be back in a few moments.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh. Sorry, I made the tarot reader noise then. Ooh.
Ooh.
Who'd like to go? With the cards, who'd like to go first? I won't start this time. Ben, do you want to go?
Yeah.
Let's hold our cards up and then we can go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So I pulled the Eight of Swords, Debbie, and to me this is saying that you're kind of feeling trapped by your own thoughts here, your own procrastination, and I think it's you that's trapping yourself, because this person could easily unbind themselves here and walk through the swords. So I suppose my advice for this would just be say, don't think too much about things, don't worry too much, you can easily unbind yourself, and sometimes we do worry about things far too much than we should, or we catastrophize things in our head. And I think this is perhaps saying, some of it can be in your head, and some of it, you can release yourself from that. And I feel like that's the message of this one.
And I got the sun and home. And so as it relates to get past all the procrastination in your life, you're shedding light on it right now. And, next Tuesday, a week from Tuesday, is the summer solstice in the Northern Hemisphere. And that could be a good time to make a commitment to do something small. And I am getting the impression that it would be helpful for you to make this down into small chunks. So when you think about your house, is there one thing in the house that you have been procrastinating about? And then do a bit of project management with that. And shine a light on each of the steps and go, okay, this is one step to get this thing done. Maybe it's organize a bookshelf, or put all of your, is it football stuff together, Patriots. So it feels like next Tuesday, a week from Tuesday, would be a good time to do it, but also pick one small thing in the house and work on it, and do a small thing every day about that. So just chunk it down.
Lovely, thank you. Well, I've got for you the Five of Boons, which in this deck is the Five of Pentacles. And I think that ties in really nicely with what you two have just said. It's almost a sense of being at a loss, or being slightly put out in the cold, perhaps, that you feel like you can't organize stuff, or the procrastination has come around because you feel a bit isolated away from it all. The other card I got was Community, which is a beautiful. Look at the lovely rainbow that's shining through that one there. And that ties in, Gerald, with what you said about it being the summer solstice coming up soon. So perhaps there's two ways we can look at this. Either, be talking to people in your community, whichever communities that is that you belong to, and ask for perhaps help or ask for advice. Or perhaps it is go out into the community and perhaps try doing something else, as you've said, Gerald, but doing something else to allow your head space to then come back and start solving those problems. Because he's got these beautiful butterflies flying around here. That's a really peaceful image. And I think, that's what your inside of your head should be looking like. Butterflies and rainbow.
Yeah. Well, and Debbie put into the chat that, she looks around and it's everywhere in the house. Well, slow down. Pick one area that could, you could, and by the way, Debbie, hi, my name is Gerald. I am a procrastinator. I've been doing this for a really long time. And, it's like, I got this message from Richie saying, hey, you want to go on a live? And I'm like, do live readings with Richie and Ben or wash my dishes. Guess which one won. But pick one small area and do that. Maybe it's where you put your keys, and then once it's straightened, then it stays straightened, and everybody knows. And I love that idea, the 5 of Pentacles or whatever it was, Richie, where ask for help. You can just say, because I know for me, it very much is I have trouble getting started. Once I get started, I can go.
And that's often the hardest step to do, isn't it? To make that initial, on whether it's, I like to say big or small things, because they're all big things in our minds, regardless of how difficult situations may be. But it's that first step, isn't it? It's taking that first step to think, this is what I'm going to do, and perhaps asking for support in it. And once that bit's done, it will all start to flow. It'll all start to fall into place a lot easier. I've been there many times myself. Yes, OMG, 8 of Swords. I feel that.
Yeah.
Debbie says, I love all these cards. So spot on. Thank you. Well, I really hope that helps the system start to sort itself out, and that you have chance to breathe. I think that's really important as well, taking time to breathe and sit there and go, yeah. Thank you very much. Candy's here. Hello, Candy. Just come in from my garden, and you're alive now. Can't stop us off on a school run, but want to say hi and a belated happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you.
Lovely.
Oh, that's
lovely having you here, Candy. It's great to see you. Take care. Oh, lots of love for Candy.
Oh, she's lovely.
I think I said hello to Ange, didn't I? But yeah, Ange is here as well. So hi, Ange.
She's driving now, or she's not driving now.
She's not driving now. I think we'd surprised a lot of people by just popping on now.
Yes.
It'd be nice to do this regularly, wouldn't it, in the daytime?
I know. If we didn't have to work, Richie, wouldn't it be fabulous? Like some people, we can retire.
But here's the question, Ben. If you didn't have to work, how much time would you spend doing this on YouTube?
Well, if I didn't have to work,
I'd be using your time in other ways. I'm not suggesting it's a bad way of using your time, but
I have to work in order to pay for the amount of tarot decks that I keep buying, to be honest.
Yeah, keep the tarot industry propped up.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, when you don't make a purchase, you get personal messages from like Llewellyn and Los Scarabeo going, "Are you okay?"
I know. I'm on the board.
Your birthday card, Ben, because they should have done. Here's to another glorious year. Hey, House.
I should be on their board of directors, really.
Oh, could you imagine that? With all the free samples and stuff you get.
I'd camp it up a bit, I think, for them.
Really? You would camp it up?
I love that. Wouldn't it be great to be on a board of directors or an artist, someone that oversees making of tarot? I bet it's quite stressful because I've been speaking to Chris Butler, as we all have, about his decks that he's been making.
Yeah.
And I'm sure anyone that's done a Kickstarter or started knows that it's just pitfalls after pitfalls. So must be a really stressy system that working, and I wouldn't want to do it myself.
Ooh, that could be somebody you could have pop on.
What's that?
Chris, get Chris Butler to come on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Beth is here.
Hi, Beth. Good to see you here. Can't stay just sending love. Everyone's busy about their day today. That's great. If anyone wants to, I think I've got everyone. I don't think anyone else has put anything about readings. If you would like a reading and I've missed you, please let me know.
Well, listen, guys. I mean, I hope you don't mind, but could I have a reading from you both? If nobody else can in the chat. Might as well while it's quiet in chat. But so talking about all these Dream Vision Tarot.
This is Beth had asked what I was using.
Yeah. Oh, I love that one. That's my top 3.
Richie, I'm going to invite you and another person on for Deck Casual on this.
Oh, okay. I'm very happy.
Is that okay?
Of course.
Okay.
And Anne says, I had no idea what camping meant until I met you folks. UK Cheapy.
Yeah.
If I had a fan, I'd flap it at this. Oh, that's right. I do have a fan. Hang on.
I'm like going, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I need another fan, but okay. Ben, you were saying something.
Fan. I think I've shown it, but it doesn't, I can't crack it.
Oh, it doesn't thwarp.
It doesn't.
It's too small. The bigger ones. Yes, the bigger ones.
It kind of semi-opens, but yeah.
The bigger ones make more noise, actually.
It's much more effective. It scares the cats, though.
What were you saying, Ben?
So yes, I was going to ask if I could have a question. So as you know, guys, I've spoken to you. I've been buying far too much lately. Have you got any advice on my purchasing habits? What do the cards say about that? Should I?
Oh, okay. You want a reading on that?
Yeah.
Okay, we can do this.
Yes.
The bigger the fan, the louder the flap.
It's true.
Especially when it hits the table, right, Ben?
Well,
or
yeah.
microphone, as it tends to do with me. You get a good knock of that.
Okay, so Ben, your question is do you want to know what's going on, or you want to know how to stop it, or?
Yeah, a bit of advice really on the situation and what I should.
Oh, I'm going to pull a few cards for you then, Ben.
Yeah. Shall I pull a card for myself?
Yeah.
Of course.
Keep that one to the end, yeah. I'm going to move you around. So, Gerald, you're going to go up that end, and I'm going to swap with you, all right?
Hi, welcome. This is different doing it with oracles.
Sorry, I'm making that noise again.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay, Ben. This has been on the rise for you. And part of it is you are expecting I'm going to be blunt, you're expecting these purchases to fill something that is missing. You're using this as a distraction.
Yeah.
And it's not always working.
Yeah.
Part of it is kindreds, that if you buy decks, then it makes you feel connected to other people who have the deck.
So can I just say, I just pulled that card as well, which is very similar to that. So.
Oh yeah, look at that.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and by the way, the voice showed up underneath that. So articulating what's going on is an important aspect of it. But you're feeling that this is what is giving you connection to other people.
Yes.
I don't know if it's YouTube or whatever, but that's not the case. Yeah. It can sometimes be a common interest. However, then you discover other things. And then we have wildness.
Mm.
And so this suggests to me you going out and getting a sense of what it is, what is the passion that you have, and start howling about that.
Yeah.
Howling as in making noise around it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That makes sense.
So
just hang on there. You keep going, Joe, for 1 second. I'm just taking a photo of my spread and I'm going to send it to you too so that you can see it. Okay.
So, I mean, and what's interesting is we have the wildness, but we also have the voice. And so isn't that what happens is you get out there and you get your voice loud.
Yeah.
And this is what happens. So you have this.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
So.
Yeah.
So my turn, Ben. I've decided to pull a few cards and just kept pulling. So there we go. So I looked at the root of the problem, and it's really weird. It's come up again. 5 of Pentacles, and it's a different stance. There's a different feel to it than when I was talking to Debbie just now about this one. Yeah. It feels, in a way, it feels a little bit like being left on your own. It feels a little bit like it's to do with finances, as we know that the 5 of Pentacles often means. It's a drain on the resources, but also it's the fact that here it's a winter scene and we have the cottage with the light on, and there's that tunnel of light, and that's the root of the problem. It's there. The obstacle that's blocking any movement from it, you've got the Ace of Pentacles. Oh, so it again is to do with your resources and your finances here. Yeah. Actually, that is the problem. Now, it may be that you have enough money to be able to do this in many ways, because you're using all the money or your resources on top of this, and it's fine. And that's the obstacle that's kind of getting in the way, is that it's not a problem. I mean, perhaps it's the whole purchasing and buying system and cycle that's going on with it. So then I pulled you 2 pathways. What happens if we change, and what happens if we stay? Okay.
Oh, I like that.
So if you stay, I got the 7 of Swords. And that's just, if you carry on doing it, or carry on the way that you're going, you're not being true to what you actually believe in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to clarify that one, I then pulled the 4 of Pentacles. So again, it's about, holding on to those resources. They're mine. I'm keeping them. That's what I enjoy. It's mine. How dare you take it from me? Almost that kind of conversation there with that one. If you decide to make the changes, you've got the Ace of Wands, which is about having clarity on a situation and being able to not only move on, but to do new, exciting things with it. And I like the fact that this dragon here is actually setting fire, or is reacting to this crystal. It's heating it up. It's working with it. And it's saying, we've got new things to do. Yeah. We can burn off what's happening and light a fire to start new. And if you continue with that path, you've got the Chariot.
Yeah.
Which is about being able to move on and being able to to find new locations. So it feels a little bit like you're stuck in it. Can I
say, Richard, that makes so much sense what you've said, because I've often thinking that collecting, I spend so much time looking up decks on the internet that I don't use them. I'm not using the practice. And you saying about the Ace of Wands there, because I think if I stop collecting, it gives me time to read more about the practice, to use the decks that I've got, learn more about it. So that makes total sense, because otherwise, if I go down the route of collecting, it's almost like you've got this hoard and you're just collecting and collecting and collecting. You're not using the practice at all. Yes. So it makes total sense what you've just said there. And you, Gerald, both of those readings were spot on.
I pulled one more card for a kind of overall sense of what's going on, and you got stillness. And I love the fact that there's this swan, and yes, with you there is this lovely stillness, this lovely energy that you always have been. But as we know about swans, they're paddling away like that underneath to keep that stillness going. And again, that's perhaps the energies that you're feeling at the moment because of it.
That's so true. and almost as well, like I need to step back and just like the waters need to be calm so that I can really think about
Yeah,
this.
you can't all the time you're on choppy waters or
Yeah.
in places that you don't want to be swimming in. Let's take the swan analogy image. You're never going to make a clear decision on it.
So true.
Ben, I wonder if you were to take one of the decks that you have,
Yeah.
just one, and then decide to work with it
Yeah.
for a month. I'm going to romance this deck. This deck is going to romance me. We're going to get to know each other. It's going to go everywhere with me.
Yeah.
I'm going to read the book. I'm going to get a little journal and I'm going to take notes or I'm going to highlight in it.
Yeah.
If that might help you, first of all, you would be using it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
the decks on, just using the one I've got.
Yes.
I agree.
And
that's a really lovely idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And you and I both have a deck, Ben, that we spent a lot of money on.
Yes.
That you could figure out a way to do it online if you wanted. And I said note that if you wanted, because sometimes it's a private, personal thing.
Yeah, no, you're right, Gerald. And I've even that one and the Thoth I've been interested in, and you really need time to dive into this kind of stuff, don't you? And I think that's so right. And not only would it help keep my mind off, looking at all these other decks, but it develops your practice as well, doesn't it? So that makes total sense. So thank you, guys. That was a really
thank you for letting us do that reading, because that's very kind and very honest of you to be able
to let us
do that.
Well, I think
it might not be comfortable, I don't know, and to do it live on a channel is very, very brave of you.
Well, I think it's an important thing to talk about, because if there's other content creators out there that feel the same, that are over purchasing, because I know that a lot of content creators that I've spoke to initially had the same problem that I did, where you're just overspending, buying, because you've seen all these amazing decks come at you. And it's really hard, because I do think you get into stuck into it and you can't stop, and it's really hard to get out of. So if it helps anybody else, you're not the only one that's going through it.
That's brilliant to say that. It's brilliant to hear that. And I know all three of us have at different times over purchased.
Yes.
So I have, I'm aware of what, hopefully a little bit of what you're feeling at the moment, experiencing. I
saw Sandra popped in.
Yeah, hi Sandra. Good to see you here. And Misha's here. Is it Misha or Micah? I can never remember.
Micah.
Apologies. Micah. Hello, lovely to see you here. Micah.
And I actually think, and one of the things that I have done, people are, a no-buy year does not work for me. Tell me I'm not supposed to do something, and then that's all I can think about. Who's Tarot Stash? But there are some people who have expanded that to be a low-buy year, which I think I like that, because and I know people who have actually set up questions that they ask themselves before they purchase a deck, or even before they consider looking for a deck. Now, I haven't gotten to the point where I've gotten Kickstarter off of my phone, but that's it. Okay, just remove all of the temptation. I have to go to my computer in order to be able to access that website. I'm not doing it on my phone. So
yes, you're right. Getting rid of apps and getting rid of perhaps saved addresses on your phone, so website addresses that
it makes it hard.
You have to physically go looking for it, and it just gives you the extra little bit of time to question what you're doing, because it's so easy, isn't it, to click on the Kickstarter.
It's just like one click,
before you know it. It's remembered everything you like. It's suggesting stuff that you like. It's really, really difficult.
Thanks, guys. That was really good to talk about, actually.
Well, thank you for giving us the opportunity to do that. And
yes, thank you.
Very brave to to be talking about this.
No, it's
So I think it's a good idea. And low buy is not so bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Sandra says, I've stopped with Kickstarter for a different reason, but still good. But still good for the overpurchase.
Oh yeah.
And Deb says, not being able to order decks online helps me. And when I go shopping for decks, I give myself. Yeah.
Yeah. You've got to be strict with yourself, haven't you? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's helping you put it into perspective.
Yeah.
You know, and I know people who, you know, when they were saving up for things, they would go, all right, this is actually, I'm going to make up a number. This is 100 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
So if I not have 100 cups of coffee, I can get this thing.
Yeah. That's
So
another way of looking at it, isn't it?
Yeah. It's whatever you think works for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is something that I do. I never put it on a credit card. I'm never charging it. I'm doing it on a debit card, so I have to have the money now.
Yeah, that is another good point, actually, Joe. And another thing as well, I think, which helps is removing your cards off site so that you have to put all the numbers in every time. Because it's just a chore then, isn't it, to have to keep doing that. And I think that's a really good way of...
Someone I know, I don't know whether this is true or not, or whether it's one of those made-up stories, but when they were going through a time of spending a bit too much, they put all their bank cards in water and froze them in the freezer.
Oh, well, that's cool.
So, and then what they did is let the thing defrost, and so they had the time until they could actually read the card to work out.
Wow,
that's cool. I mean, whatever works.
Really nice idea. I wouldn't suggest it's very good for your cards and stuff, but I like the idea of taking time from putting it in that basket to checking it out, giving yourself time to breathe on it.
And right now I probably have 3 windows on my phone that are decks that are hi Regina.
Hi Regina.
That are decks that I'm considering purchasing. So they're just still there. And you know, I'm a window shopper too. I'll go through, fill a cart full of stuff, look at the cart, and then delete.
Yeah. Sometimes just putting it in the cart, but then not processing it is enough. And then, you know, and it's finding, like you say, guys, ways to do it how it works for you, I suppose, isn't it? You know, but that's really rung true what you've said in the reading as well. So.
Lee says, I don't do Kickstarters anymore. I just wait until the deck review's available. Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem with Kickstarters I've found when I'm doing it is that it's almost on the never. You back it and then, I've got weeks to decide whether I'm going to take it off or not. And invariably I don't. And then, it's gone. But I have got choosier with the decks. That's what I've done. I've spent more time looking at the individual cards. I will not buy a deck just off seeing 3 cards or 5 cards.
You're right there, Rich, and I think it's good to go through the whole deck. If someone can do flip throughs that you can find online, it's so important to do that, isn't it? Rather than go off.
I'll tell you one that was. This is. Have you seen the new Dungeons and Dragons tarot?
Yes.
I absolutely love that artwork. Absolutely love it. I would kill for that deck. Yeah. But I have a massive problem that there aren't any titles on that you can work out what the line is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And I thought, I am not going to spend my money on a deck that I know I'm going to get really frustrated about. I'm not going to have time to learn it. I'm not going to have time to work with it. I will purchase that deck in the 2nd or 3rd edition when they decide to actually put the titles on it properly. That's when I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And that was a bit of a tough call because I've seen lots of lovely walkthroughs of it and it looks fantastic. But I know that if I buy it in the format it's in, it will not get used.
I know. It almost feels like it's been made by someone that doesn't read tarot as well.
Yeah.
Now, Richie, would you be willing to write on a deck?
I did think about that, but my handwriting is appalling. And I just think the artwork for Dungeons and Dragons is very linear. It's very stylish. And my school on it would just ruin it. And again, that would just frustrate me.
Mhm.
And I don't think that's the answer to it either. The answer is I should have time to sit and work with the deck,
Yes.
or wait and see what the comments are. Because if they do reprint it, hopefully they'll listen to what people say. And if people decide that's the case.
Yeah.
Hello, Patrice. Lovely to see you here. Oh,
Patrice.
handsome friends. So that got into a really long conversation, didn't it? But it was really interesting, and I think really important to have that.
Yeah, it was good. That
I agree, and you know, it's just well, here you go. We all know this: purchase responsibly, know your limits, and let's face it. Let's face it. Sometimes, and I've done this. I want a damn deck. Damn it! I want a deck. I don't care which one it is, but it is filling a gap. I want a deck. So.
B says Urban Co-op is going mass market, so I'm selling a deck to get it. One day I'll have a room for books and decks, but for now I have to deal with it. That's a nice way of doing it, though. One in, one out. Or
I was just thinking that.
Yeah,
that a lot of people say that rather than buying, get rid of one to make room for the other. I think that's
well, and so there are no numbers or titles on Dungeons and Dragons.
I think it's the Minor Arcana. They've got a small symbol at the bottom, and I thought that was the symbol for the suit, but it's not. And I don't think the pictures represent how. So it's not like you've got 4 wands in the 4 of wands. I might be wrong, but I did look at it and go, "Ooh, that's going to be a massive problem for me."
It doesn't seem like a tarot deck from what I've seen of it.
No.
The other thing, Ben, is you need to let people know who will share decks with you that you're not interested in purchasing them.
Yeah.
So if and it's like, for me, just tell me I'm not buying any decks. You can show me what you've gotten, or wait until you've gotten it.
Yeah.
Before you tell me about it.
Yeah.
You know, set your limits, because the people who care about you will respect your limits. Yeah. I mean, and then sometimes we won't.
But this is a community that part of a community of tarot, and we do like showing what we've got.
Yeah, it's true.
That's part of the joy of it. And so having if there's people there that wants to do this, it can be triggering, and we need to be responsible in many ways to try and help people with that.
This is something actually, Richard, that I wanted to talk about was, because I recently did a video which showed a load of decks, and I didn't feel great about it, to be honest, after I'd released it. And I think I spoke to both of you two about it, and I'd said that it took me ages to press the publish button on it, because I didn't want it to come across like I was showing off or that I was flexing. And it's just made me feel like I at the moment, I feel like just taking a break from showing flip throughs and stuff, because I don't want to be one of those channels that just constantly shows loads of decks, because I know how it can make me feel. But I know, having spoken to some people, they like seeing lots of different decks. But I'm kind of in a bit of a not sure moment really with that on my own.
Well, it's if you like, Tarot Stash. I haven't done a flip through in a while, but by definition, my channel is about showing the decks that I have, because I want people to have an opportunity to go, here are all the cards.
Yeah,
you're not going to get my impression about them. I mean, and walkthroughs and first impressions are wonderful. They're not for me, so I can do more of that, of just here's the flip throughs. But I'm not responsible for somebody purchasing a deck because I've shown it.
Yeah.
I mean, and yes, I say that purchase responsibly, know your limits as a joke, but I'm serious. If you can't afford, if it's a choice of this deck or food, medical care, healthcare, buy the food. So people can not watch.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But
I'm just looking at what people are saying in the chat, actually, because there's some really lovely points being made. Deb says, by sharing, you do people like me a service, because the 38 years or so that I didn't read, I didn't know about how many decks were being created. So there is that side to it as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you think about people maybe new to the community coming in, looking at this, yes, it can be completely over.
Yeah.
Oh, it is overwhelming.
I think I overthink. Yeah.
Perhaps that's the case, Ben.
Mm.
But we all do, don't we?
Yeah. I think I sometimes look at it from my own point of view and thinking, oh God, you know, if someone's seen all this, what would they think? Really, you know? It's a tough one, isn't it?
Oh, that's good, Debbie.
That's why I do walkthroughs, Debbie. That's exactly why. Not to talk people out buying the deck, but I like to show people exactly, like I said, I like to see every single card before I make my mind up. So I will watch a flip through just to see what the artwork's like. And if there's any cards in there that is a deal breaker, then it's a deal breaker. I can't redesign the deck for the creator. And that's why I like them. And that's why I do them.
Yeah. And some people on like the deck casuals, you know, they're like, you're talking me into this deck or you're talking me out of the deck. It's how I use Oracle. But I like that too. I love that when it's just like going, ooh, nope, that's a deal breaker for me.
Yeah. Because quite often, let's face it, we buy our decks from either the publishers or Amazon or eBay. That's where that's where the majority of them tend to come from, and they don't do a good job of showing what all the cards are like.
They don't. That's true.
Particularly Amazon, you get a really bad photograph of 3 or 4 cards possibly, or a pile of them, and you want to make your mind up from that.
Yeah.
Well, and Make Playing Cards now only shows, I think, the first 6 images rather than you could see all of the cards.
Yeah.
I know, it's a shame they've done that, isn't it? Because you used to be able to see everyone, didn't you?
I think it's a copyright thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And Sandra, I love your walkthroughs.
Absolutely. Don't stop making them.
Yeah. Do not stop making them. You know, maybe Gerald could actually do some more flip throughs.
Yeah. I love what Deanne says. We're all responsible for ourselves. I like that one there. Bee's asking, do you have a deal breaker card?
Oh. I don't think I do. Like a card.
Go on, sorry, Ben.
No, I don't know what you mean. Like a card that.
If it's badly, if it isn't illustrated in the way that you would.
Oh, I see. Like one card, but the rest.
Yeah, 1 or 2 cards.
Or
do you have particular cards that you look at to make a decision on? That's the thing, I suppose.
I do. I look at all the terrible ones, like the Tower and the Devil, all the dark cards.
This is a good topic for a live, Ben. I know people have done this. It's deal breaker cards, and I've talked about this too. Richie, what do you look at?
I don't worry about cardstock or stuff like that. I will look at how clear the design is with my old eyes, but I will have cards that mean a lot to me. And cards that don't mean a lot to me, and that's the ones I look at to decide whether it's a deck that the general theme works for me. So the Moon card is the card that I often just look at because it's one of my favorites. I will often look at the full card just to go, oh, that's the style we're going in, or oh, that's the style we're going in. And that might be a deal breaker on it because it's the first card you come across in the pile, and it's going to probably tell you how the theme of the deck's going to go. I know it's a very obvious thing to say. Then I will look at the cards that I always have problems with just in the interpretation, something like the 2 of Swords, because I'm always interested in how that's been interpreted. Some of the court cards as well might be a deal breaker. It depends on how they've been portrayed.
I don't know about you guys, but I don't like glossy cardstock, and that's what's a deal breaker for me on some decks. I can't stand the shine on it. I much prefer a matte feel, because the glossy ones seem to stick together as well. And annoyingly, I've seen this tarot deck that is glossy now, but the first edition was matte. So it's trying to find the matte edition, but then it's expensive because it's the first edition.
Which deck is that? I don't know.
It's actually the Golden Tarot.
Oh, yeah.
And
the Golden Tarot? Okay.
Yeah.
It's gold.
Yeah,
Is it a tarot deck
it is a tarot.
or is it an oracle?
No, it's a tarot. That's why it's called the Golden.
I got up early for this, people. I got out of bed early for this. And I'm glad I did.
This is a fantastic conversation. We are here to read cards. If anyone does want to have a reading, by all means, pop it into the chat. But we're having a lovely time just talking about this.
Gerald, are you sleepwalking or are you actually with us?
I am actually with you. I was taking a note because I wrote down the idea of like deal breaker cards. I know that's something that people have talked about before. And I look at the Hermit and the Moon.
Mhm.
So I like that idea, Richie, of you saying, starting off with the Fool. Where are we going?
Mhm.
But I'm a 2 of Pentacles person, a 3 of Pentacles, an 8 of Pentacles, and the 9 and the 10 of Swords. And I like, and this is it goes back to that idea of Ben, where we were talking with Mark Astro Tarot about seven features of my ideal reading deck.
Mm.
It's like I like my court cards to be doing something.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That's a really lovely point, and to sit and actually think. And Ben, well, we could all do this actually. That would make a really interesting live to actually sit down and make a 5, 6, 8 point plan on what should we be looking at in a deck, and if perhaps 2 of those categories aren't fulfilled, then do we not buy the deck?
Yeah,
as brutal as that over it all. But it'd be really interesting to see what our personal taste was. Even color palette, something like that.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to do that as a live.
We should do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll put it on our list.
Thank you.
Yeah. Put it on your list. Yeah.
And it can mean that somebody doesn't buy the deck, so a walkthrough could save people money.
Yeah.
That's happened to me many times, Sandra. You're right there. And Debs didn't know a deal breaker card until I see it.
Yeah.
The answer is, I think it's so nice and thoughtful for people to be aware of their influence. But really, when it comes down to it, Simon made me do it. Just use this as a classic example, as a joke. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have to be careful of things like that, don't we?
Yes.
I like a card that surprises me in a good way.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments was when Selkie posted her empty bag of Oreos in the Hermit's Cave, and Simon made me do it.
Well, and I agree. I like a card. See, now I'm okay with a deck that I have a weird reaction to, where I go, what is going on here? Because there's a difference between, oh, I cannot stand this deck, I'm going to throw it across the room, to this is a challenging deck for me. And do I want that challenge?
Yeah.
So
it's interesting, isn't it? It piques your interest. Yeah. I love that.
Thank you for all your comments. I'm just reading through. Yeah, of course. No one makes you buy a deck.
No, and I agree with that. I know no one can make you buy a deck.
Yeah.
I think that's true. It's everybody's own responsibility, isn't it?
Yeah. And Deanne says, I agree, Gerald, some weird hesitations I like, but some I don't.
Yeah. And I think it's a fun idea, where if I like the idea of, I like seeing the deck. I like your flipping 10s, Richie. They're really great, where you're going to see all the cards and you're going to get the 10 that I really like.
Yeah.
And do that. What I want to do is I want to take that to the next level, is like, okay, here's the flip through, or here's the flipping 10. Now here's using the deck.
Yeah.
I think Chris Elemental Cardomancy does a 6-card deck interview. I think that could be another level. It's like going, I think, and I know Orshi does something like that, where she'll do a flip through, then she'll do a walkthrough. And, an opportunity is like going, okay, here's my interview with it. And then do readings with it. Go on and do live readings around it if it's a public deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's a very big, interesting topic that we are only just scratching the surface. But what I love is that everybody has thoughts and opinions about it. about what they prefer, what they wouldn't want to see, what they would want to see, and that just makes for a really interesting conversations, and ones that we should always be having. I don't think it's a case of we have this conversation and never and then not forget about it, but we put it to one side to carry. We should be having these conversations on a very regular basis.
Yeah.
But that forces us to think about what it is that we like about tarot and what our aesthetic is. And an aesthetic can be can be varied.
Yeah.
I know somebody who likes rainbows and fairy tales in one hand, and in the other hand, they like deep, dark decks. Nothing wrong with that. It's just you need to have that clarity. Lisa Papez will do like a this or that, or deck declutter or something like that, where she'll, decks I'm not going to buy.
Yeah.
Where she'll look at it and she'll go, okay, what's the aesthetic that I like, and what do I already have in my collection?
Yeah.
Do a deck interview on video. That's an idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Deanne says, I enjoy hearing what people have as deciding factors. I have so few that I could set out like Mark did. So interesting to hear others do it too. I have a few themes I don't care for, but that's it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's an interesting conversation, as I'm fascinated by what people enjoy and what. And I mean, if you just take this one stage further, this is what, we were talking about being on the board of tarot card companies and stuff like that. But they must look at the diagnostics of this and go, well, does this new deck that they're presented with fit in with what our catalogue is? How does it, or do they? So they must look at what people are purchasing and go, yes, we had a hit with this one, so therefore, for example, I know there's a Diablo, the computer game Diablo deck coming out, hot on the tail of Dungeons and Dragons. And then
really?
Well, that is Blizzard Entertainment's got that. And then the excitement is, well, if Diablo takes off, then it will be a World of Warcraft tarot deck, which I know Peter, my husband, would die for. But it's
he'd get into the tarot for that reason.
Exactly. He'll probably buy
the way in.
But it's just interesting to see how the marketing and how the influences actually go in society that makes us that makes these decks created, isn't it?
Yeah, I must admit, I was thinking about this morning. You randomly get thoughts. So I was thinking that way back in the early 2000s, when I first got into tarot, me and my friend did, I couldn't find tarot decks anywhere like you can today. I remember going to the shop and there'd be a little corner in Waterstones which would just have like religious. And in that section, there'd also be like a spiritual tarot deck. And you'd only get a couple of decks in there. And that was it. And like oracle decks maybe, but there was very short supply. And I remember going to a town and finding this shop called Another World. And it was all about comic books and things like that. But there was this one section where they'd got witchy stuff. And it felt so weird going to that section, because it's like you almost felt bad for doing it, because nobody ever seemed to be in this section. And it seemed like all the books were sealed as well. They had like this plastic sealing on. And it was so exciting though at the time. It was very magical. And it was like me and my friend would always go and have a look and see what new books like they'd got out and what tarot decks were there. But it was very limited. Yeah. And I was thinking this morning, today, you just go on the internet and search for hundreds of tarot decks, and that wasn't there back in the day. But in some ways, I remember that we seemed to use the decks we had more, because literally between me and my friend, we only had 4. We had 2 each, and I think we had so much fun with just that limited amount. Whereas now, there's so much out there, isn't it? It's almost over sensory overload. But saying that, I do like the fact that now you can go out and buy any sort of deck for any mood, any season, which is cool. But it's just interesting how times change.
Yes.
Because it seems more, you can go into any shop now, Works for instance, and you'll see a tarot deck right in front of you as you walk in the shop, and nobody bats an eyelid.
No.
Whereas years ago, it was like a bit taboo. I used to feel like if I was looking at the section in Waterstones, people would look at you and think, well, you know. Whereas now it's very different, isn't it?
I went to a local art gallery concert hall, and they had a gift shop, and they just loved the arts and cards and books and artwork there. And on the shelf they had, it was like a tarot deck that they were selling, and it was in with like the kids' games and toys. And I thought that's really interesting.
Wow.
And it was a kind of child-friendly tap, but it definitely is like your first tarot deck or something like that. And I thought, wow, hasn't the world changed?
Yeah. And Richard, it's funny you mentioned that, because when I went to this shop, Another World,
yes, it was that one. Yeah, it was that one.
Okay. Yeah, I was just like going, I'm looking through this one going, do I want to do a deck casual on this one? So,
but I remember going to this one shop, and in the UK, you'd never see anything like a Ouija board. And I went in this shop, and above the door was a glow-in-the-dark Ouija board. And I was shocked that they were selling it. I was like, oh my gosh, I had never, ever seen one before. And I couldn't believe a shop was actually selling one. And especially in the UK, because I don't think they're as readily available here. Well, they certainly weren't years ago. And now, of course, you go on Amazon and you can buy anything like that, you know, with just a click of a button. And shops like Poundland and stuff are selling them now at Halloween and stuff. And it's like, you'd never have...
Oh, yes.
You could buy them a few years, well, probably back in the 60s, 70s. They were actually published as a board game, Ouija boards. I think Waddington's that were.
Yeah, you're right, Richard.
And then it was stopped. And now, as I say, it seems to be coming back.
I think it was...
Yes, you can get, I've seen it, you can go to like shops that sell like kind of furniture and stuff, and they'll have like tabletops with like an Ouija board on it, done as a kind of in that style of boho kind of furniture, but it's still a Ouija board.
Yeah, and yet looking back then, you'd never think anything like that would happen now. You know, it's strange, isn't it, how times change? It's interesting.
Debbie, I need that too. Yes.
Is that a video game?
Yeah.
It's not just a video game; it's a world, Gerald.
I'm sorry. My apologies.
Yes, the Dusty Bottom Shelf.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
But it was so exciting, you know, when you found it. I was like, "Oh, this is fantastic!" And I loved the discovery of it.
The looks you would get from people if you looked there.
Yes. It's like,
and B says Tarot Age, one of my favourite kids decks. I use it mostly in the winter. Yeah.
Oh,
there's a tarot deck as well, guys, called Tarot for Kids. I don't know if that one.
Oh, wow.
That. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's not hiding anymore. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's true. Because a lot of people.
But that actually probably goes to show just how, not just how the world has changed, but how the demand for it's changed. And I wonder how much the pandemic has, because I noticed I started buying tarot decks on eBay just before the pandemic, and the price of them shot up.
Yeah.
Shot up during the 2 years of the COVID. So I wonder how much, and whether this will keep growing or whether the bubble will perhaps burst. I don't know.
I think more and more people, though, are using tarot decks, not for divination, but actually as a self-help tool. Yeah. And I myself use them more as a self-help tool to kind of put thoughts on the table.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Jamie.
That's right.
Hey, Jamie.
Hello, everyone. I'm just seeing everyone. Really interesting conversation. I'm going to have to go in a minute, I'm afraid.
Me too.
But this is, you've got something else. You've got to go and do the dishes, haven't you, before you go live again?
Oh, I'm actually, I have a phone call with a friend.
Oh, okay.
So.
The dishes can wait.
Dishes can wait. You've got tarot to talk about. But I think, this is the start of a conversation, I think, that we need to be having. It'd be interesting to have more people in on the live to be able to discuss it.
Yeah, it'd be good to get
different views and opinions would be fantastic. So that's really, really good. I'm going to put that out there. If anybody would like a reading before we go, we've only done a couple, but that's great because we've had some fantastic conversations, and that's that's worth its weight in gold. So if you would like a reading, just let us know. If not, we will sign off. Gerald, what have you got coming up in the next? You're very busy today doing things, aren't you? Lots of lives.
Here, let me get you my stack. This is for this week.
Just for today.
Or she is on. Oh, shut up. Or she is on my channel today at your 7 p.m. We're doing an I'll show you mine. Yeah, Richie's going. He's laughing now. He's laughing. And then later. Yeah, and then later tonight at your 11 p.m., I am on Circle of Friends doing full moon readings.
Was there
and
full
then
moon?
Full moon is tomorrow. And then tomorrow morning at is it your 2 or 3 o'clock? I am on with Jane the Seeker. We're doing readings,
Oh, I
and
might
we're
go
using
on that one. I might come on and be in
yeah,
chat for that.
we're using the Enchanted Unicorn Oracle. And then Tuesday afternoon, your Tuesday evening, Tangi and I are together doing Oracle readings. And then, but wait, there's more.
More?
If you subscribe in the next 10 minutes, you get to see me. I'm a guest on Aiden Reads Tarot at 9 p.m. Eastern.
That's tomorrow.
And that's tomorrow. Yeah, I have 3 lives tomorrow. And then Wednesday, Ben and I are talking to Terry Lee from Pure Visionary Psychic Medium. We're doing a casual.
I'm with you
with
again.
her. Yes. I finally got that contract signed.
You're a pleasure to be with. It's okay.
That's what he says on camera, but when I leave.
Have you finished or are you still going?
I'm finished.
One day, you know what? Somebody will just come across your cards for all your things and they'll publish them as an oracle deck.
That's funny.
It'll be like the Ali Man's Tarot with loads of booster packs to go with it.
There you go. Well, yeah, there you go. That's funny. I love that idea, actually. Did you get the Alley Man? Did you get the Alley Man?
No, I can't bear decks are made by different artists. That really upsets me.
I should show you. I should show you that then on a live and see if you get nauseous.
Oh, you two do make me chuckle. Ben, have you got? I mean, you're being dragged in on all this things. You got anything else?
No, just my life with Gerald on Wednesday.
Perfect.
So that's something to look forward to. With
And we've got a Okay, why are you showing that again?
Because Ben was. That's where
no,
Ben is going to be.
You need to make a sticker on the top with Ben official tarot. You need to we've got our Litha readings, haven't we? Are we going to go Litha or Midsummer or Solstice readings? What should we call it?
We have Long Stash next Monday,
We do.
and that's at your 7 p.m.
And it's on your channel, isn't it?
Yes, and then that Friday it's on your channel. Did we get a third person to read with us?
We didn't.
Do we have somebody who?
We asked a few people around, but quite frankly, no one of quality.
So Ben's coming on. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm one of the people that wasn't of quality.
We're joking, of course. But that'd be lovely, Ben. You haven't officially signed the contract yet.
I've actually.
Yeah, but
I think I've got something on Monday. Let me just check.
does anybody want to join us for our Letha conversation?
Yeah, do. I might.
Well, you are going to join us.
Oh, this Monday, 20th.
Yes.
You know,
No.
if you do get stuck, I'm free.
Do you know anything about the summer solstice?
No. It's not going to be very helpful. Well, you know what to do, guys. If you
But it's the
can't find
24th.
anybody-
It's the 24th that the Letha readings are in Longman Tarot.
It is.
Longman Tarot, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe to all of us.
Are you asking me to be on or not? Well, yeah, that's
Hang on, let me get this right. Please.
Please, 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 Ben. Please, please, beneficial. Please, please, please. Oh, sorry. Hashtag tiny hands alert.
Oh, right. I'm going to stop this now. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone in chat. Thank you the people who we did a reading for. Hope that's okay. We'll be around, won't we, in the next few 24 hours possibly, or less for you, Gerald, I would imagine. So
the next hour for Gerald.
Get your tiny
There you go.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.